What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Thanks for watching. Today we have a shotgun slug video for you guys. These are the 12 gauge Twister from Salt Creek Custom Ammunition. And the reason I'm doing this video is because they claim that these are some of the most effective self-defense shotgun slugs ever made. So of course, I want to try them out. Full disclosure, these were sent by Salt Creek Custom for me to make a video with. Of course, I appreciate them sending them out, and I'll go ahead and read to you what it says on the top of the box. So it says, the 6-petal Twister Slug is designed to fragment upon impact, creating 6 separate wound channels, making it the most effective self-defense slug ever made. Their words, not mine, and I want to find out if that's true. Now, they actually have 2 different versions of this, and they sent me both of them. One is a 5-petal slug, and the other is a 6-petal slug. So again, like it says, they're designed to fragment upon impact and send those petals in all different directions, creating multiple wound channels and maximizing the possibility of an effective hit. This is what they look like out of the box. It's a clear shell, so you can actually kind of see the projectile in there. This is the 6-petal Twister, and it's a lightweight, low brass shell. So I assume they're not gonna be super powerful or have a ton of recoil, which might be a good thing for a self-defense slug. A lot of slugs are extremely powerful, have a ton of recoil, and will just over-penetrate like crazy. All things you might not want in a self-defense load. Or maybe you do, I don't know. Let's see if these really are the most effective self-defense slug ever made. All right, we got 2 different versions of this slug, the 5-petal and the 6-petal. Like I said, I don't expect them to have too much recoil because they are just low brass shells. So I wanna try one of each, see how they feel, then we'll get into actually testing these things. We'll go ahead and start with the 5-petal Twister, and the shotgun we're using is the Winchester 1897 trench gun. By far my favorite 12 gauge shotgun. Gonna aim for that yellow plate and see if we can hit it. A little more recoil than I expected. It's actually pretty powerful. Well, I underestimated that one. Let's go ahead and try the 6-petal Twister and see if it feels any different. I don't think it will, but let's see. Man, those are powerful. Honestly, the 6-petal did feel like it might have had a little more recoil. Either way, they both thump. All right, before we get into the ballistics testing, the real scientific stuff, with these slugs, of course, we have to do a watermelon test. A 5 or 6-petal shotgun slug that fragments on impact just sounds perfect for sending through a watermelon. So again, we'll shoot one of each and see if there's a noticeable difference. Let's do it, boys. Once again, we will start with the 5-petal slug. I'm gonna try to put both of these in the exact same spot so it's a fair comparison. Yes, and we got bonus points for hitting the Texas Star. That was crazy. Well, it's gonna be kind of tough to beat that, but let's give it a shot. 6-petal slug. Kind of tough to tell with the naked eye. I'll have to watch some of the slow-mo footage. It looked to me like the 6-petal slug had bigger pieces of watermelon flying off of it, whereas the 5-petal just disintegrated it more. Either way, both of them were absolutely ridiculous. I'll go ahead and give the win to the 5-petal slug, just for the simple fact that it also hit the Texas Star, which was kind of cool. All right, let's go ahead and test these slugs with some actual science. I have a Ballistic Gel Block from Clear Ballistics. They actually sent 2 of them. So one for each slug. We'll shoot these gel blocks and compare the results side by side. This is a 10% FBI block, so it's 16 inches of ballistics gel. And for the sake of consistency, these gel blocks are great for testing ammo. And on the back, you can see some of the other products that they offer. They have an archery block, long range block, animals, torsos, pretty much anything you would need in the form of ballistics gel. Thank you, Clear Ballistics, for providing the ballistics gel. Of course, I appreciate the support. Let's test these shotgun slugs. I went ahead and put a water jug behind the gel block just in case it passes all the way through. We're gonna start with the 6-petal slug. This one is 527 grains, and each of those petals is about the same weight as a .22 long rifle. So if you think about it, it's basically like 6 .22s hitting you at the same time with a giant shotgun slug behind it. Kind of cool when you think about it that way. 6-petal slug from the trench gun. Well, our water jug's leaking, so at least some of it went all the way through. All right, well, I don't think that could have gone any better. It literally worked perfectly. So the slug went in right there towards the middle of the ballistics gel, and looking at it from the top, you can see how uniformly that slug expanded and broke apart and sent those petals in all different directions. And it looks like probably for the first half of the ballistics gel is where that wound cavity is biggest, and it's definitely big. From the side, you can kind of get another look at it, and it looks like we only stopped one of the petals in the ballistics gel. The rest of them either exited out the sides or the top, and the main projectile also went all the way through the gel and through the water jug. It looks like that might be the wad. Honestly, that kind of surprises me. I did not think the petals would get that much penetration. I thought they would go 3 or 4 inches and then just kind of die off. But even they went 12 to 14 inches into the ballistics gel. So it's definitely not a gimmick. All right, let's go ahead and try the 5-petal slug. I'm not sure of the weight on this one. I assume it's similar to the 6-petal, and I'm actually expecting this to be the one that gets more penetration out of the two. So I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time, right? Don't agree with that. 5-petal slug versus ballistics gel. Damn. Well, after that, I'm gonna assume that the 5-petal slug is either heavier or going faster than the 6-petal slug because it had noticeably more recoil. So you can see where this one went into the gel right there, and actually quite a different result than we got with the other one. The big part of the wound cavity, where it dumped most of its energy, is shorter on this one. It's probably 3 or 4 inches long, where on the other one, it was at least halfway down the gel block, and we also captured more of those petals. We did have one exit right here, and it actually blew straight through the lid of our water jug. And again, I believe that is just the wad in the ballistics gel. It looks like the big part of the slug did go all the way through and penetrated our water jug. And the petals are obviously bigger and heavier on this one than they were on the other. So they did not expand as quickly or dramatically, but they did get more penetration. That's like 5 .30 caliber bullets hitting you at the same time. Pretty crazy. All right, so I've got them stacked on top of each other. I think this is probably the best way to see them side by side. On top we have the 5-petal slug, and on the bottom we have the 6-petal slug. So this one obviously expanded sooner and spread out quite a bit more, which is why most of those petals did not stay in the ballistics gel. Whereas this one, they got more penetration, but did not open up quite as much. And it looks like the 5-petal slug actually does have the bigger wound cavity out of the two, at least in diameter. So they're both awesome. It's kind of just personal preference. If I was gonna pick one right now, I would probably pick the 5-petal slug just because I want those small projectiles to get as much penetration as possible. But let's be honest, they're both wicked, and I think they would both do the job just fine. Well, I just picked up this water jug to get rid of it, and inside, I found the big piece of our 5-petal slug. Still intact, obviously pretty heavy, And if you look closely, you can even see where those 5 petals were attached and broke off as it expanded. Initially, I thought that it passed all the way through like our other one did, but if you look closer, you can see that is not an exit hole, it's just a bulge where it tried to come through. So although the petals got more penetration on this one, the big piece of the slug actually penetrated a little less. Kind of cool. And just to show you, that big projectile in both of the gel blocks was the plastic wad. I assume the slug probably carried it through because plastic by itself would not get that much penetration. And it was in the same hole. All right, boys, there you have it. The Salt Creek Custom Twister Slugs absolutely rock. Are they the most effective self-defense slug ever made? That just depends on what you want. Most shotgun slugs, to be honest with you, are gonna be very effective, and I mean extremely effective for self-defense. Get the cleaning products out if you use a shotgun slug, because there will be a mess on the walls. If you're looking for straight up horsepower and foot-pounds of energy on target, no, this is not the world's most powerful shotgun slug. But if you want a fragmenting slug that creates multiple wound cavities while minimizing overpenetration, this might be the one. The bottom line, I like it. I would absolutely use this over something like a deer slug, and it would probably be at the top of my list for home defense shotgun slugs. But the decision is yours. I'm just presenting the results. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. As always, I'd be glad to hear from you guys. Again, I want to thank Salt Creek Custom Ammunition for sending these out. If you want some, go check them out. And if you like the video, hit the like button for me, guys. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.